Okay, hello, everyone. So excited about today. We are going to have a session. Let's see. But first, let's see. The date is Saturday, April the 22nd, 2023. And today we are going to have a session with Joy Tramuel. I met her recently at the Holistic and Spiritual Expo that was in Virginia Beach. And it was just her vibe. It was just her vibe. We walked up to her table. She was just so open, so friendly, very knowledgeable, and very creative at the same time. So I said, yeah, I know you're gonna come over here to Inner Haven. We are absolutely gonna have a sit down session with you. So I was so excited when when I gave her a call and she said yes, she would come and speak with our group. So I'm really excited. So Joy, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and go ahead and take it away?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, what do people usually say when they introduce themselves? Well, my name is Joy Tramuel. I'm born and raised in Newport News, Virginia. I am a graduate of Norfolk State University 2 times. And I also have a specialization in education from Regent University. I worked for a decade at least in the mental health field. And then I'll say, well, now it's just so funny because now I feel like I can use all of these terms and jargon that most people don't understand. And so now I'm with people who probably will understand. So the year of COVID, I had my Jupiter return, and really the weekend of my birthday is when Virginia shut down. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? What's going on? I can't go out. I can't do nothing. So that whole year, 2019, I'm in the house, and when you're young, astrology and all of that, the horoscope, oh yeah, it's cute, it's fun. But I just started to come across it more often. It's like, the algorithm on social media is one thing, but it was just kind of being pushed. I'm like, all right, so let's revisit this. And I'm like, dang, okay. And you find out about your sun, your moon, your rising. I'm a Virgo moon. I'm a Leo rising. And I'm just like, dang, all of this makes sense. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm really this person. And so I took that and learned about deeper into astrology. I got into tarot reading, and that is what I do now. I have my website is 12thlighthouse.com. I do a free monthly newsletter. So you can go to the website and sign up, and I don't spam people. I only can afford to send 3 emails a month. So you're only going to get 1. Okay. So, yes, what else? For me personally, astrology is just another way to label and categorize personalities based on, the astrology in their birth chart. Is still like mental health related, okay? Because I find, like, in a lot of the books that I've hoarded, okay, a lot of those same people are people we learned about when I was getting my degree in psychology. So I'm like, oh, this is that same person? Oh, we ain't get this far. They ain't teach us all of that. They only taught us the super duper basics. So I'm self-taught and I enjoy learning a great deal. I have Jupiter in Capricorn. So if I'm gonna learn something, I have to have some type of structure. I can't just be out here. That's why I got all these degrees, because I need structure if I'm gonna learn something new. So I don't know if that's enough. Anybody got any questions about me that they want to ask? I don't know. Nope, that's fine. All right. So I'm gonna open it up if there's anybody that wants to kick us off with a prayer. Okay, all right, I'll do it. Okay. Thank you so much for allowing me to coincidentally run into Reverend Carol at the expo, because when people come together, it is for a greater purpose, and we are all gathered here today to learn, to grow, and to shine our light upon each other. We pray that this will allow us to have a brighter future, a brighter idea, so that we all can come into alignment, raise the consciousness across the globe on this beautiful and wonderful Earth Day. Ashe, namaste. All right, all right. You know, I chose Earth Day purposely. When I saw it was Earth Day, I was like, oh yeah, we got to do Earth Day. You know, I'm all about going green and recycling and all of that good stuff. So, okay, so I'm gonna be looking down at my notes. So don't get mad. Don't get mad. So, what is astral travel? Astral travel is when the soul leaves the physical body and travels to distant locations, timelines, lives, and planes of existence. Most people might be more familiar with the astral realm as the dreamscape or dreamland. In Buddhism, it's called, no, I think it's Hindu, it's called Swapna. Swapna, Swapna. So your sleep, your soul or your spirit is able to travel to all these different places because it's not confined by the flesh. Here, when we are awake, we have ego, we have tradition, we have laws, we have rules that govern our behavior. Okay, we have societal expectations, feelings. Okay, you are might not do something because you're afraid, but when you are asleep, when you are uninhibited, your soul and your spirit is free to move about and do whatever it is it needs to do in order to raise the consciousness, because that's what we all here for. And so when I say ego, the ego psychologically is just there to ensure that you can have your needs met, but also get your needs met within the confines of society. Like if you are hungry, you're not just going to go out and steal someone's food. You have options. Either you're going to cook at home or you're going to go and buy some. Okay, that is the ego trying to maintain a level of balance between your id and your super ego. Okay, and so what is a dream? A dream is a state of consciousness that occurs during sleep, is usually accompanied by vivid visual, tactile, or auditory imagery. So for me, my belief is essentially like when you go to sleep, the dreamscape is the astral plane. That is essentially where you are. I've had past life regressions in my sleep. I've had prophetic dreams. That's not something that happens often, but when I do have them, it's amazing to me personally. Okay. So when you dream, that occurs during what most of us might know as REM sleep. That's REM, rapid eye movement. Your eyes are closed, but essentially your eyes are just going all over the place. Okay. This stage of sleep is characterized by flickering eyes behind the closed lids, dreaming in rapid brain waves. Okay. So now we're going to get into the science. It's brain waves. So you have gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta waves. Gamma waves are for processing information. Beta waves are for conscious thought and logic. Alpha waves are for conscious awareness and subconscious sleep. Theta waves are for daydreaming and emotions. And then you have delta waves, which are restorative and healing. So sometimes you might wake up and you feel so well rested, you feel like, dang, like I really had a good sleep. That is because you had a high level of delta waves during that night's sleep. Because we can't do anything without sleep. If you didn't go to sleep, you would essentially literally lose your mind. Okay. So also when we are dreaming, sometimes I find that the point of view changes. Just like if you are reading a book or watching a movie, the point of view is the same way. You have first person where you're in the story. You have second person where the story is told to you. You have third person limited, which is the narrator is outside of the story. And then you have third person omniscient, where the narrator is outside the story, but they still have access to each character's thoughts and what's happening on the inside. So like, for instance, some people might be familiar with the Netflix show You. The character is the narrator, but you also have access to his internal thoughts. And it's funny because I did not know until maybe like last year, the year before, that not everybody has internal thought. Like some people don't have themselves talking and weighing out things inside their head. It's literally like no voice. They just act. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. So, you know, I'm just like dreaming. I thought everybody dreamed the same way I did. Full color, vivid, movie-like. That's why I never thought anything special about dreams. I just thought that's how everybody dreamed. But some people only dream in black and white. I never even knew that was like a possibility. Okay. I'm just like, that is just so wild to me. Even people who are colorblind, if they are born colorblind, they see different shades of gray. They've never seen color, so they don't know, you know, their eyes can't create color. Okay. Babies dream, pets dream. I've had Frankie, sometimes he'll dream. I'll see him, he'll be barking a little bit in his dreams. He'll wag his tail. He's even growled in his dreams. I'm like, what are you dreaming about? What's happening? They're just making you growl. Like, are you okay in there? Like, so, but just like anybody else, a real human, you can't just suddenly wake anybody from a dream because you don't know what dream state they're in. You don't know what's happening. So if I have to wake Frankie up because I feel like the dream might be getting a little too action packed, I'll just softly, gently pet him. Because if I just shake him, he might wake up and bite me, and I don't want that. So now we're gonna get into dream theory. You have so many
Let
dream
me ask you a
theories.
couple of questions before we get into dream
Okay,
theory.
go ahead.
About the different dream states. That can we put ourselves into those states? Do they just come naturally? I mean, is it something that we can not control, but indulge in? And another question is, when we are doing our astral travel, is it like when we're in that lucid state of dreaming? You know, when you can, everything feels exactly real.
Okay, so you can induce your dreams. Is one, you have to prepare yourself before you go to sleep. Okay, so the easiest, quickest way would maybe to like put a piece of amethyst under your pillow, or any stone that assists in astral projection or astral travel. You can, for herbs, you can do lavender, chamomile, bergamot. And I know a lot of people, you might do some lavender tea before you go to bed. But you also have to quiet your mind a lot, especially with the phones and people, they in the phone until they close their eyes to go to bed. You have to quiet your mind. I mean, obviously at night we've been through a lot sometimes during the day. So it's okay to kind of process those thoughts, but after a while you're gonna have to come back, or maybe like do a meditation. That's why people used to say things like count sheep. That quiets your mind until you're able to really kind of relax yourself. But you also have to be enthusiastic. Every night when I go to sleep, I'm excited to go to sleep because I'm like, I know I'm gonna have some wild, crazy dream. Let's see what's gonna happen tonight, where I'm going, who I'm talking to, who gonna show up. So those are some ways you can induce your dreams. So lucid dreaming is when you are aware that you're dreaming. And I don't lucid dream that often, but I can still, like sometimes in my dreams, I can still smell things, I can feel things, touch things, or whatever. Like if it's raining, I can smell water, or I can smell a flower or a fruit or something like that. I remember, I guess after I got on the journey, because I've always, even as a young child, I've always had very vivid dreams. But like I said, I just thought that was how everyone dreamed. And I couldn't really control it. Like I still can't really lucid dream now all the time, but sometimes while I'm dreaming, I'm like, I know this is a dream, but I can't really, like, if I'm in my house in my dream, like go walk in the kitchen and I just walk in the kitchen. It's not like a Grand Theft Auto video game type of thing like that, but I am aware that I'm in a dream. Okay. I remember one time I was in the house I grew up in, which isn't far from where I live. And the house is, well, it was kind of remodeled. Like the kitchen door used to be, let's say it was on my left. And then we remodeled and the door was on the right. But in the dream, it was the original floor plan. And so I'm just in the kitchen, just standing there. And then I promise you not, I saw the Grim Reaper come from around the corner. And I was like, oh shoot. And I promise you, I don't even know what, I like beamed myself up out of the house and I woke up. I wasn't scared. I just was like, oh no, I don't want no parts of that. And I just woke up. So as we get older, we don't really have nightmares. Nightmares are something that younger children have. And so I kind of noticed, like, you know, in a dream, even if it's something dangerous or quote unquote scary, I'm not, like when I wake up, I don't have like anxiety. I'm not scared. There's no heavy breathing. I'm just like, dang, that was kind of crazy. And so also keeping a dream journal is probably one of the best ways to induce your dreams or kind of review and take note and evaluate what you're going through on a daily basis. Like, this is my first dream journal. It's totally full. It's front to back, is totally full. And this is the one that I'm working on now. It's just a hardcover blank journal, nothing special. And I have 3 of these since 2019. And most people, when they dream, you can dream from either like a few seconds to up to 30 minutes, but the average person has about 7 dreams per night. And so me personally, I can clearly remember at least 3 of my dreams every single night. And I journal them as soon as I wake up in the morning, because obviously you're gonna forget. So I definitely make that like one of the first things I do in the morning. I write down my dream in my dream journal, and it's usually, I separate them. I call it act 1, act 2, act 3, just like a play. And that's it. Sometimes at night, if I don't dream, I'll just put no dream. Or if I wake up and I forget, I'll just put act 1, forgot. Or if I remember, but it slips away, I'll just put can't remember, but I still try to put as many details as I can. Like XYZ wore this. I was talking to 2 people. One was a man. I try to put ethnicities in. I try to every single detail. Where I was it daytime? Was it nighttime?
Joy, I have a question.
Yes.
When it comes to journaling your dreams, do you recommend doing it in a narrative form or just writing down the important aspects of the dream? In other words, where you are, who was in the dream, and all like that. Because I remember years ago when I was in counseling, my counselor, she used my dreams to help me as far as my growth was concerned. And what she had me do was just write down those important points, and then to serve as a jog for my memory. And when I related the dream to her, using, telling the story as I came across each one of those items in the dream, she would use the words that I used in order to tell the story, and she would use that as a way to help me as far as her counseling is concerned. So which do you recommend? one or the other or both?
I recommend that people do what works best for them. Me personally, I went to Woodside High School, and so my major was creative writing. So mine is a narrative style. And
Okay.
so it's like a full-on story. Like I'm telling it as I'm speaking it. And so eventually my goal is, because the first volume was just so exciting, riveting. I want to eventually kind of do like a book and try to tie some of the dreams all together as one and make it kind of seamless into a seamless story, because essentially it's already written. I just have to like type it up and make it, tie it together. So
Okay.
yeah, whatever works is recommended.
Okay, so I have a question. So a lot of times I see my dreams, I see my future in my dreams, and I'm very excited to see those dreams for my future. So I wake up with excitement.
Well, that's
And a lot of time with these dreams, it actually comes in manifestation also, what I dreamed about in the future.
good. That's good. And sometimes with the future, sometimes it is, let me go back. So for dream theory, you have the Freudian dream theory, which is the basic. Dreams are just expressions of our desires and our unfulfilled needs. Sometimes it causes anxiety, but that anxiety, anxiety is natural for us. It actually motivates you to kind of get things done. So that's where the success portion comes in. That's the manifestation. It's not that you're nervous or you're worried or scared that this won't happen. It's just kind of like the motivator for you to actually take the physical action to get things done. Because, manifestation starts off as a dream, an idea, or just a thought. So as you have to actually take the action to be successful in whatever it is that you choose to do.
Okay.
Darkina, you have a question, but you're muted. Darkina, you're muted. There you go.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, the question I have is, I rarely am I conscious of dreaming, but at night, just as I feel sleep coming on, I feel myself going out of my body through my head. And then at a certain point, I feel myself coming back in to my body. But I'm not aware consciously of having dreamt that. What would that be?
So
I do feel like I travel places.
Okay. You just can't remember. So like, do you wake up exhausted and tired, like you really been somewhere?
No, I wake up very energized, full of energy, and filled with excitement and energy and ready to face the day. But I have, when I was married, when my husband was alive, he said many times he'd hear me say, "Oh, I just made it back in." And the first time that I did that, he asked me, he said, "Well, where were you?" He said, "You were right here." I said, "No, I was gone." I said, "My body was here, but I was gone." And he said, "Well, where were you?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I just know, I could see myself laying in bed as my feet were coming down through my head." So I don't know what that, what would that be?
I think it's either Buddhism or Hinduism. There are 3 stages of what is it called? Stages of
transgressive
of being, I think it is, like states of being. You have waking life, the moment right before you go to sleep, your dream life, and then the moment when you wake up. So there is an in-between, and having that level of awareness of the in-between is probably something you should explore, I would say. Or maybe when you see yourself sleeping, maybe kind of like talk to yourself and just try to say, okay, well, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm planning to do. I'll let you know when I get back. Just kind of have that communication with your 5D self and your 3D self, just so that, you know, if anything goes wrong, because I don't want you to just be making it back. I need you to always come back on time. Okay?
Mhm.
A lot of times in movies, they'll say, oh, well, you know, your soul got to be back by XYZ time, or, you know, sunlight, dawn, or you're not going to make it. That's not true. We know that's not true because people take naps and you can dream in your nap during the daytime. So, yeah.
Okay.
Joy, I have a question.
Yes.
When you have a dream about someone who is deceased, when I wake up, sometimes I'm a little like nervous about it because I really can't understand how I'm still association with somebody who is deceased or having a conversation or at an event. And it really, it has me like scratching my head all day long. I'm like, they're not alive anymore. So how are we even able to even have a conversation or be at an event, or are we doing anything, I'm saying, together?
So you have to remember, like I said in the beginning, when you are dreaming, your soul, your spirit has no inhibitions. They can go anywhere. They can jump timelines. They can go to the past, the future. And most of the time is that family member or friend just coming back, just catching up and saying, hey to you, what's going on? Because I've had recently, my dad's aunt passed away last year, and it was March 23rd. And this year, on March 23rd, that night, she came to me in a dream for the first time, and she was just showing me where she lived. It was just like a rural area. And me in real life, that's not the house that I know of her to having lived. So I'm just like, I know this is not her house, but I'm gonna humor her and I'm gonna just go along with it. And in the dream, I knew she was deceased in the dream. And so I just let her show me around. And when I woke up, I just thought it was weird. And I was just like, dang. And so a family, one of my cousins, she was like, you know, that was the day that she passed away last year. And I was like, oh. So essentially that was just me, her showing me where she is now, even though she's deceased, where her spirit is, so that I know and feel better about where she is. I've had family members come and visit me, but it's not often. So when they do, I take it as something like it's a message. It's very important. So you have to like think about where you are, what's the conversation. So I talk to my deceased ancestors on a regular basis. I tell them what's going on in my life. This is what's happening. I confide in them. I ask for their help. You know, they can still help you, even though they're not physically here. Their spirit is still very much so here.
Well, Miss Joy, is my question is, this is Andre. My question is there a do you think that there is a I want to say a membrane, because I don't want to say a wall, a membrane between when you're going into REM sleep, from going into REM sleep to your gamma, to your beta, to your theta? Is there a buffer when you're going in between? So is it that where our bodies are relaxing and we have to let ourselves go from this physical form that we know? And I kind of understand completely where everyone was coming from. Definitely, it's that feeling like you don't want to leave your own self behind. So is there like a buffer between, as we get deeper into sleep, how deeper we can astral plane?
Well, there is, I will call it more like a progression. So there are like obviously different levels to each of the wavelengths, because we know even frequencies, color frequencies, like orange is a little bit, the color orange as we see it, the waves for the color orange are a little bit tighter than they would be for a darker color like blue. So there is a progressive stage, I would call it. And so I'm not going to say you don't want to leave your body behind, but your soul is essentially leaving because they know your body is okay, you in a safe place. Unless you, like, let's say, well, I don't even want to say that. I'm upstairs, so let's say like it's a flood upstairs or something. Sometimes in our dreams, we'll hear the sounds that are actually happening around us. And so that might bring you back a little bit because you're like, hold up, that's an unfamiliar sound, or like the crackling of a fire or something like that, or the smell of smoke. That might wake you up. I know people, they pass away in house fires all the time because they didn't wake up, they didn't smell the smoke. But at the same time, I don't want to say it, but it may be because their soul just didn't make it back in time for them to wake up. They were too far away. But you know, when you're in astral realm, there is no time and space. You can move however you want to move, however you need to move. So sometimes.
I guess that's, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but are we taking that, should we be taking that when, like you were saying, you enjoy the time in the evening to relax and get ready to go to sleep? Should we practice certain things like that? And so we can mesh into those realms of sleep a lot easier, so we can understand, so we don't have that automatic just dead sleep. Your body's so tired that you're just dead sleep, and then you hear those noises like water running and you can jump up so quick and you get that, is it a training to yourself to go from REM sleep? Is it, breathing techniques and things like that? I know you did speak on herbs and things like that, as far as knowing that we're going into there, that invisible level that you were talking about, is there an easier way that we can take ourselves to that deeper level and control it? Or is it just something that naturally occurs in us all, like you were speaking with your dog? Is it just something that we all naturally do?
It is something that if you want, that I would encourage practice. It's just like a muscle. It's just like your intuition. You have to practice it if you want to get better at it. Always make sure you get enough sleep. If you know you have to be to bed or get up early in the morning, try to go to sleep at a earlier time. I know some people use alarms. What type of alarm are you using? Is it birds chirping? Is it waves? Or is it something that is going to kind of startle you? Because that's not what you want. You want to be able to ease into a sleep state and ease out of a sleep state. Even people who natural for, they still need to practice it so they can kind of hone their skills. Like when I was growing up, I spent a lot of time at my grandma's house. She's older, she lives in the country. So soon as that sun is up, she cooking, we up. So now, like even forever as an adult, when the sun is up, I'm up. That's it. Light shining. I can fall asleep with the TV, but that natural sunlight is gonna wake me up every single time.
Okay.
What else? And so other dream theories, we have Carl Jung. His dream theory was that dreams are reflections of the collective unconscious. That is what the Hindus refer to as phala, P-H-A-L-A, phala. So essentially, I'm a Carl Jung girl. Even in psychology class when I was in undergrad, Carl Jung, what is it called? Psychosocial, because we're social people. We learn and grow from each other. Even if I'm just watching you to live vicariously through, oh, I saw that's what happened. I'm gonna do this to try to see, get a different result. Then you have cognitive dream theory, where a lot of people believe that dreams don't have a meaning and they just reflect your daily life. And so obviously, if you had a stressful day, then they just assume that your dreams are going to be stressful. If you've had a positive, smooth day, then you may not dream at all. And so to some extent, I believe obviously that is true, because when you're asleep, again, you have the gamma waves. That is for the info processing. That is when your brain takes memories for the day and experiences and puts them in the subconscious and kind of puts things where it needs to go for understanding purposes. Then you have the physiological, which is the neural impulses and the signals of the REM sleep, your actual what's happening in your brain neurologically, okay? And then you have evolutionary dream theory, which I also believe is true. Think of it kind of as an immersion therapy, where it's kind of like a rehearsal for threatening events. If you are going to a zoo and you are afraid of snakes, you might dream of snakes just to kind of practice how to react if said snake would come toward you. Like I said, it's kind of like an immersion therapy. If you're scared of heights, you might dream about being in a hot air balloon just to kind of prepare you for the likelihood of being in a high place. And the Hindus refer to that as Asubha, A-S-U-B-H-A, Asubha. What else?
Can you spell that again? Asuva?
A-S-U-B-H-A.
Because that happens to me a lot. So is that astral travel? Because I will often have a dream about some type of thing and it happens that next day. I can, I can feel it. Like recently, I saw these ants on the wall, and the next day the ants was on the wall, in that same place, and I have had a dream where there's a big giant spider web as I walk out my back door, and it's been there. So am I traveling? Is that an astral travel? Because I was in that time zone, or that time zone, I was there. And then when I woke up the next day, it was proof that it was, that was the thing that I saw. So is that like astral travel?
So, okay, hold this real quick.
I would say that it is, you kind of project into the future a little bit, because really you have to remember, our eyes see everything and it is being processed by our brain, whether we acknowledge it or not. And so, like, if I'm looking straight ahead, I see leaves, trees in the car, but my eyes really can see maybe like a squirrel on the ground. And so the spider web or the ants may have been there and you didn't notice or weren't aware. And so in the dream, it's like, all right, it's going to become a bigger problem in the future. So we're showing you now so you can be prepared and try to think about how you're going to handle that. And also with that, I would encourage everybody to get a dream dictionary. I have so many. I probably have like 4 or 5. I had a dream dictionary back in like middle and high school, and I still have the same one to this day. Like one of the intro page is like falling out, but you want a dream dictionary just so you can kind of understand and refer back and kind of evaluate why you're having these dreams, because some people have reoccurring dreams. Right. And sometimes reoccurring dreams, people say that there's a message that you are not receiving, or you missing the mark some kind of way. But sometimes, depending on the type of dream that is recurring, that may be true, but also you might be kind of running into the same issue, but in a different environment. Like you might need to improve your personal skills, and it might be showing up at work, at church, or within your family or your friend group.
Okay, Joy, I have a question. This is
Yes.
Sakina. Are you saying that dreams and astral travel or projection are one and the same? Or are they two different modalities?
They are one and the same, but people just, the average person just knows it as the dream state, but it's really astral travel, it's really astral projection, is really your spirit moving in the 5D.
In the what?
In the 5D dimension.
Oh, fifth dimension. Okay. All right. Because
'Cause
I just saw them as two different things.
Well, I mean, it's just based off my personal experience. I mean, like I've said, I've had past life regressions in my dreams, like uninduced. I didn't know I was going to dream about.
Oh, there's some noises coming
Yeah,
through. So
whoever,
it's probably-
yeah.
Yeah, somebody got, would everybody do me a favor and just mute their mics, please? Thank you.
Like I didn't know that, like the first time I astral, well, not the first time, but one dream that I really remember is, I don't know what year it was. It had to be like the early 1900s based on how I was dressed. Because a lot of times I'll see like the style of dress and I'll Google that so I can get a frame for the time period, like where I was and what was happening. But I was in a log cabin house and I was hiding all these young boys. And there were two women and a guy walking up with torches, essentially coming to burn my house down for hiding these young kids. And so I opened up a trap door and I told the kids to get into the trap door and essentially don't worry about it. I don't know what happened because, they never actually burned the house down. I wrote it down, but I don't remember if I woke up or not. But that's what happened. I find that in a lot of my dreams, I was like a guide for kids, young children. When I say young children, I mean like 10 years and younger. I've dreamed that I was on a ship, a huge ship. I was a teenage girl, and this had to be 1800s again. And essentially, I was there to keep the young kids encouraged, stay positive, don't cry, because they had been separated from their parents. And so I was there to kind of be the big sister or kind of mother them in a way. And so we got to remember too, like your dreams, you have to look at your birth chart. Dreams are associated with the 9th and 12th house. The 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter, and the 12th house is ruled by Neptune and Pisces. And we know both of those, Jupiter and Neptune, are all about the spiritual, the occult, the esoteric, the dreams, the desires.
So Miss Joy, can you tell us a little bit of about our not only our dreams, but what you were just speaking of as far as how that interacts with our birth sign?
So depending on your birth chart, you might be more inclined to certain, I'll say it like this. Your ability to astral travel and astral project is reflected in your birth chart. And so I would kind of look that up, even if there are like certain aspects to Jupiter and Neptune. I would kind of like, because for me, my 12th house is empty. I don't have any planets. But it is also in the sign of Cancer. And we know that Cancerians are all about
Quiet, aloof.
Mother. That too. They are a little bit.
They are aloof. They are very intelligent. They are very intelligent, but they move and they move on a whole different vibration. Yes.
Yes, but I kind of think of Cancers because you have June and July. I'll say that June is the hard shell crab, and July cancers are the soft shell crab.
Yeah, I'm
That's how-
again, that's why I asked that question. Like I said, me being a January Aquarius at the end of January, after Capricorn is a part of January.
Right.
I'm kind of in me being an air sign. So that's why I was kind of asking that question, as far as, breaking down our understanding our birth charts, and not just understanding, hey, it's just, hey, you were born this month and this is your sign. It's much more. So
Right.
and how we can interpret our dreams with that. Can you let us know where we can find those charts of our birth signs and things like that? That's one thing that I am working on myself. It's hard for me to go that far. I deal with astrology as far as signs, if you can tell, but I don't know how to do that part.
Okay, there are lots of good websites where you can just type in your birth time. I know a lot of people aren't sure because, hospitals didn't always record your time of birth, but if you know someone that was there or around or can pinpoint, well, I was here when you were born, like my aunt, she always says, well, I was at a cheerleading competition. So I know that was during the daytime, like she says it every year on my birthday. And so, but luckily, I look back in like a old like childhood photo album and it's written down from the hospital. So I know my birth time. But most people use noon if they don't know their birth time. But you have astral.com and Cafe Astrology, but I like astral.com better because you can type in the actual location of where you were born instead, as opposed to the city. Even if you have like the address, you can type in the address because sometimes some buildings aren't there and if something has been erected in that spot. So as long as you have the address, you should be okay. So for Cafe Astrology, I had to type in Hampton, Virginia, but for astro.com, I was able to type in Langley Air Force Base because that is the specific location at the hospital where I was born.
Okay.
And the more specific you can get,
Yeah.
the better information you can get.
Yeah, the clearer it comes through. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
for that one.
You can get a birth chart that can show you the asteroids as well with Chiron, Lilith, all of those things. Vesta, I would do that too because we can't just ignore those. I mean, we still include Pluto, so we got to.
Oh, I do too. Thank you for saying it. Thank you for saying it. I do too.
Yes, yes. I have a lot of Scorpio energy in my birth chart, so we're not just gonna get rid of Pluto like that. We're not gonna do that. So yes, yes. What else? So let's double back real quick and talk about nightmares. So probably one of the strongest memories I have of a nightmare is when I was really, really young. I want to say maybe like 8 years old. I still remember it to this day because I was that scared. I was that worried and afraid. I hadn't watched anything scary or anything like that. But nightmares are really like dreams that create fear, panic, and anxiety. They are not the result of said panic, anxiety, or stress. They just create it. So I was with a mob of people. It was nighttime, but instead of like a black night, it was red, like pure blood red backdrop. I can still see it now. And it was like this dark castle on like the edge of a hill or something like that. And so me and this mob, and mind you, Freddy Krueger is one of my favorite villains just because he's just so funny and he deals in dreams. Okay. So the mob was like, yeah, we got to kill Freddy Krueger. We had a little pitchforks and we was going around town. And so boom, we got Freddy. So we had a coffin. I don't know why we having a funeral. So we having a funeral and inside the coffin is not Freddy Krueger. It is my mother. I woke up. I was so scared and afraid. I did not like it. And ever since then, I think that is really when I started being able to kind of control my dreams in a way, not necessarily lucid dream, but kind of control the types of dreams that I had. Because essentially after that, I don't ever even remember having another nightmare. Like that one did it for me and I was back. The rest of it is just processing information, because I really wish I would have been doing a dream journal through college, through middle school, high school, all of that. So what else? There are, for some people, I will say, things that will stop you from dreaming, but what works for you may not work for someone else. Like I know for me personally, when I drink alcohol, and I don't drink, essentially, like even a glass of wine, like that is going to stop me from dreaming that night. So I try to avoid drinking. I mean, obviously, if I want to have fun, I'm gonna have fun, but I just know, well, you ain't gonna drink that night because you're gonna be stuck. It's gonna be a black night in the dreamscape for you. So, but for some people, they do, like, we know, ayahuasca or marijuana, or they smoke some, what is it, mugwort or something like that to induce their dream. But for some people, it might kind of block you from dreaming. So you just have to know like what your limits are, especially when you smoke. That might take some time to kind of wear off, like as opposed to alcohol, where you drink that one night and it's out of your system. You just need some time, you'll be fine the next day. But marijuana and other substances stay in your body for a longer period of time. So that means your dream state is going to be affected for a longer period of time. What else? What else?
So yeah, as far as what you were speaking, as far as nightmares, I'm kind of with you on that one. I've had that Freddy Krueger dream, and yes, he's my favorite one. He's my favorite out of all of them, you know. But I have had those nightmares. But like you said, as a child, I did not have too many bad nightmares, and even as an adult, I don't really have bad nightmares. Now, what I do is I have instances that are a little too real. You know, it's not, you know, it's not a monster in my dream. It can be driving in a car down on a bridge. I like you said, mine is a bridge over water. I am very uncomfortable driving in a car over a bridge over water. I don't like it. Can swim and everything. It's just because of this dreams that I used to have, that the car always veers off and goes into the water. Hits the water. No one is, but then I wake up. So I am always wary when I go over a bridge over water. I don't, you know, I don't deal with it. And everyone goes, well, what's wrong with you? You're not scared of heights. No, I'm not really scared of anything. But this is the perfect storm for me. So I understand. Is it a more or less of a thing when it comes to nightmares, that it can be something that is from a past tense as when we dream? Because like I say, not scared of heights, can swim, drive a car pretty good. You know, is it something from a point of view of past tense that these three things can culminate and, you know, give that anxiety?
So for you, I would say that would take us back to the evolutionary dream theory we talked about. That's kind of like immersion therapy. For whatever reason, your spirit feels like it needs to prepare you for such an event. Not necessarily you driving off a bridge, but you have to think about it. When you have that dream, you should probably look up or Google or get a dream dictionary. And we all know water is emotions. So I would look up you being in the car. Are you the driver? Are you the passenger? Or are you in the back seat? Because all of those things matter. Because if you're in the driver's seat, then you are literally in control. But if not, then you're
Then
not in control.
what am I dreaming? Because I'm not in control. I'm not, and this is an old dream. This is a reoccurring dream. And this is an old dream. So, and it's been years since I've had it. I've just been trying to figure out as an adult. I haven't had it as an adult. So that's why I was kind of, agreeing where you were coming from as far as like, I'm not gonna have that dream no more. So I'm gonna take control of my dreams. So I don't have that dream anymore. I just never understood it. And I guess what you're saying is, dream books and things like that will push you in those right directions of understanding.
Yeah, and like I said, sometimes we have nightmares to give us anxiety, and anxiety kind of gives us the motivation. So that might have been a dream that you had to trigger your spirit into saying, okay, I'm going to take control and essentially hone my gift of being able to astral travel and astral project, so that as an adult, you can be more experienced.
I like aha moments.
I like it too. Good.
Because I too thought there was astral travel was different from dreaming. I thought that. So I think that, on the outside, it looks the same because you're in a dream state, you're waking up. But I thought that dreaming pretty much kind of had to do with your unconscious, where astral travel was your spirit or your astral body, your spiritual body moving, going, doing something somewhere else. So
I agree with you.
Tell me how that works.
So if you astral travel, that means essentially you would be lucid dreaming almost every night. And you don't necessarily have the strength to do that every night. That takes a lot out of the astral travel and the astral projecting. That takes a lot of energy out of you. And so sometimes
because it doesn't happen a lot. I mean,
Yeah, but sometimes we don't need to go so far to get what it is that our spirit needs. Sometimes things are right around the house or right outside our door or XYZ. And so you got to remember, your spirit knows what it needs. And like, okay, well, I don't have the energy to go to India and meet with XYZ today. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to meet with my ancestors from 100 years ago and try to make sense of what's happening now based on where I've been. But sometimes it's easier to travel in the past because it has already happened. The timeline is already there. I mean, the future timeline is already there, but we still have to make the choice as to which direction, which path we're going to take.
Yeah, but I felt that you could astral travel into the past. I mean, and that be separate from dreaming. Or am I correct in thinking that?
I mean, that's why I say this is just based on my experience, because every night that I dream is not just like an ordinary dream. Right. Like I'm going somewhere like every single time, all the time.
I was going to say too, go along with what you were saying, Penelope. See, I saw astral travel and projection as being able to connect on the astral plane with light beings and being able to be energized. And you are going to places, but not always is it earthly places. You may be going to other stars, other universes, in your astral travels, and you're gaining. It doesn't necessarily always deplete you. Sometimes it gives you more energy. So that's how I saw it. I do see dreaming and astral travel as two different things. One is working, to me, dreams are the images of past, present, and future, as opposed to an astral travel. I saw it as being able to actually have your soul or your spirit, your astral body leave the physical and go to where it needs to be restructured or regenerated,
Okay,
so that you're able then to be of better service and do your purpose in the human form while you're back here on Earth. That's how I kind of saw it.
Yeah,
okay,
but
okay.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Miss Joy. Go ahead, Miss Joy.
I was gonna say, like, that's essentially every dream. Like everywhere you go. I mean, really, I'm just saying dream for people who aren't, that's just a general term. I think that is something that most people are familiar with, but I guess I'm using, for me, the astral travel and astral projection and dreaming are like interchangeable. I'll say it like that.
Okay, so I have a question.
Mhm.
So what's the difference between dreams and subconscious?
I think your dreams take you to your subconscious, and then that's when the astral travel and astral projection comes in, because obviously when you get to your subconscious, you need something to do. Just not just hanging out. So it's like, okay, well, let's work on some healing today. Well, today we're gonna work on your 5-year plan, but in a spiritual manner. Meditation, we're going to do XYZ in the dreamscape / 5D. So you might dream about going to India and meeting with a monk and you learn a new mantra.
Okay,
Or you might run into somebody that you know, because even if it's somebody that you know, they still represent someone or something. Because I've had dreams about people that I don't talk to now, but I went to elementary school with them. Like, why are they popping up in my dream? Like, what do they represent? Why are they here? Everything has a meaning.
okay. And also have another question. So I had a dream not too long ago with my grandmother that she was younger, but I knew she was my grandmother, but I saw her when she was younger in my dream.
And
How that
see,
happened?
sometimes astral projection or astral travel back into the past, sometimes we just need to be able to observe our family members. Maybe you needed to see how she grew up in order to make some changes in your own life, or get some level of understanding as to why your parent, her child, grew up the way they did and why they raised you the way they did. And maybe you would take that and apply it to how you plan to parent in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Because you got to remember, sometimes I heard somebody say traditions are adult bullying. Okay, traditions can be changed, they can be adjusted, because times are different, times are changing. So sometimes we have to travel back to the past to see or get some level of understanding, so you can say, oh, well, that's why this happened. This is learn from that experience, because you can't physically go back in time, so you have to go spiritually. And the same thing within the future. And because the world is getting bigger yet smaller, sometimes your spirit is just going to use the resources and tools that are at hand. Like some of y'all might be in your dream tonight. I don't know. So I might have a new message or something that I'm not aware of. Maybe it's something on my spirit that I can't get off physically, because maybe I don't have the verbiage, or I have a limited understanding of what it is that my spirit is trying to communicate. So while we're on this topic, I do want to touch on the Akashic records. So
that was my next question.
Good. So the Akashic record is just an energetic or spiritual storehouse where everything that has occurred or will occur in the universe. And I have been to the Akashic Records. I didn't know at the time that's what it was until I found the language in researching and learning and studying. And so in 2002, my cousin, she was a victim of gun violence. And so a week probably leading up to her funeral, she came to visit me every single night. And we were in this white room, we were literally like sitting on clouds, and every night she would have a book and we would go through the book. It was just a photo album, but even in that time, before I knew it was the Akashic Records, for me, it was literally every single memory that we had together. We just kind of went through it, we reviewed it. And so on the last day, she was like, okay, this is the last day, I gotta go, this is it. And I didn't ever after that, I never really even told anybody I had this dream, but after that, she never came to me in the dream after that. And so
Mercy,
recently,
video Wi-Fi.
not that long ago, she started coming back to me in a dream. And when she comes to me in a dream, I'm like, okay, like what's going on? Like what you doing here? She wasn't that much older than me, just 4 years. And so the first time it happened, we were at my grandma's house. And so everybody was there. The entire family was there. And so I'm talking to her and she just laughing. I mean, like yucking it up. And she was like, Joy, they can't see me. You the only one that can see me. And I'm just like, why am I the only one that can see you? And so it's like, she even had our grandfather there sitting at the kitchen table like he always used to in his suspenders, but this time he had on like some bright yellow suspenders. So when I got up, I immediately, looked at the color yellow. What does it mean? What does it stand for? Because he wasn't a man of many words. So, he just sat quietly, but I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, dang. So I'm the only one that can see you. So essentially, I mean, I'm sure there are other family members who have had dreams with her there, but I guess our connection is different because I have these, I'll say, spiritual gifts. So I've had a lot of practice in the astral realm and astral projection. So it's easier for her to communicate with me. What else?
Can we stay on that topic real quick? That the topic of Akashic
Sure
Records real quick.
Yeah.
It's something I'm very interested in. I agree with the way that you just broke the definition down. It's everything before and everything after. It's a point of view of knowledge. Do you think it's something that scientifically, now I'm going to go scientifically a little bit.
Okay.
Do you think that it's something that is actually it's information that's being poured down upon us cosmically anyways? And yes, and like you said, certain people who kind of can catch it, or not saying that no one, not saying that not saying that it's a chosen few who can do it, but everyone can do it. But just if you are aware that you have connected for whatever reason or whatever experience connected you to that point of view, where it kind of turned on that little light switch where we know but we don't know. Is it that it's being poured upon us and that knowledge can be all harnessed all in one lump sum? Or is it something, or does it take not only this lifetime? Can it be harnessed in just this lifetime, or does it take us to transition from here to expand to get to that Akashic record, to understand everything?
I
hope I didn't lose you.
No, I think that yes, any and everyone can access it, but I think of the Akashic record as essentially like a library. So the
Mhm.
information is there for us to pull as we evolve as a race of humans, as a species. And the problem is people don't go, I'll say, to the older books as often as they should. They allow things that happened in the past to collect dust because now it's all about a narrative, especially as things become more digitized.
Mhm.
All we have left is what's in the quote unquote cloud. And so that is essentially our physical, even though we can't touch it, we have 3D access to it. It is going to be, it's essentially replace the actual, I
Texture.
don't want to say
Yeah. The texture.
right.
Yeah. The us actually opening a book.
Right.
Us using our senses to understand I feel you. That's what I'm asking. I guess that's what I'm asking. Is that knowledge being poured down upon us, that older knowledge? Even though that, as we were saying with dreaming, it's something that we naturally do. It's something that just it's gonna naturally occur to us. So is that knowledge being naturally poured down upon us, and we're just either paying attention to it or not? We're
I
just looking at
think
it
it
as a dream, like.
I think it is being poured down, but we have so many other things inhibiting us from accessing the information that we already have. Like, essentially, we are being taught not to even trust our own intuition. And so unless, like, you can't even, even though, like, let's say somebody is a diabetic, you might feel lightheaded, but unless your phone or whatever digital device tells you that your blood sugar is low, some people gonna try to push through it and ignore it and assume it's a headache. Okay. And I mean, you got to remember too, science is really trying to tap in. They really trying to get to the 5D. That's what the algorithm is. They trying to guess what it is you want to buy or what it is you need before you even know or even have the thought. That's why some people say, oh, Big Brother is listening. Big Brother is doing way more than listening.
More than listening. He giving wedgies. So
yeah. So, I mean, we just have to be more aware. And me personally, yes, technology is great, but I keep it at bay. I keep it at bay as much as I possibly can.
It's hard to work on anyway.
It's
hard to do.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
The thing that worked last week doesn't work this week, Okay, fine.
Yeah, but technology is kind of an energy that is at times being used negatively.
Yes.
So that's why you're Joy to keep it at bay.
I mean, back in the day when the washer and dryer was new technology, people said the housewives was getting lazy because they didn't want to use the daggone wash board. But now you got a refrigerator that tell you what you need, and you ran out of cheese, and I don't need all of that. I can look and see I need cheese. Okay, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. So just lastly, I just want to point out, I'll call them some more famous astral travelers. From the Bible, you have Isaiah, you have Ezekiel, and then we have the story of Jacob's ladder. And then Nostradamus, Joan of Arc, and we even have, I don't want to say our very own because he's not really from Virginia, but Edgar Cayce. He sold encyclopedias and he was a clairvoyant and he went to a therapist, and ever since then he was a psychic. And so you have the Edgar Cayce Center down in Virginia Beach that they do tours every day. They have a visitor center. I actually tried to go last week and they are closed for renovations, but they are supposed to be reopened today. I don't know, but I am hoping I can go in the next couple of weeks or so. So in different religions, different backgrounds, people attribute dreams and astral travel. They all have a different meaning. So in Islam, they believe that dreams are given to those who will benefit from the message. So even though it's a dream, when you astral travel, there is always something that you're supposed to learn and bring back to your physical self. Okay, you're not astral traveling for fun. Okay. Christians believe that dreams or astral travel is to draw us closer to God. Okay, because like I said, dreams are associated with the 9th and 12th house, and that's all about spirituality and actually connecting to a higher power and being able to use that to raise the consciousness of the collective. Hindus believe that dreams or astral travel is one of the 4 states of being. That's who it is. Hinduism. It's waking life, your dream life, and right before you fall asleep. And then you have Judaism. They talk about the importance of a dream is based on how you interpret the dream. So that's why I encourage people to have a dream journal, get a dream dictionary. This little dream dictionary I actually got from the used bookstore, Second and Charles. I go there all the time. This book was $4.40. And this is probably the best dream dictionary that I own, because really for each thing, it'll give a physical and emotional and a mental and spiritual meaning. So for here, it says egg. For physical, it might say developmental resources. For emotional, it says you feel nurturing and patient. But for mental and spiritual, it says you have many unhatched ideas. So I like multi-layered interpretations. And then Buddhists believe that dreams are only important when 2 people are able to communicate telepathically. So sometimes, you know, you and another person might have the same dream, not necessarily the same night, but you might share the same dream. Or you might visit each other in your dreams. And so obviously there is a message there, and that the 2 of you need some kind of help from one another. So you need to come together and maybe try to figure out what that is or what the issue is. It's not always an issue, but sometimes there's an issue. We just don't know there's an issue until our spirit brings it up and brings it to our attention, essentially. So it's like, oh, hello, I need you to do something about this right here. Okay. So any other questions?
No.
Okay, well, I'm all done. That's all I
I
got.
have a comment, if I may. So I think
Sure.
my dreams actually prepared me to do what I'm doing today, because it showed me part of my future. And so that dream helped me to help other people. So what I saw in the future prepared me to what I'm doing today. So I think my dreams are manifesting as we speak.
That's good. I wish that would happen for me. I'm like, I'm tired of healing and learning. Just bring me what I'm saying. Come on now.
Give me the goods now. Give it up.
I would like to thank you, Joy, because when it showed up, because family, I said, I'm always gonna support. But I thank you for the information, because a whole lot of the things you had brought up, I had heard before, but I never really had thought about like tapping into it. So now I think I'm going to tap into things, especially with the astrology and stuff like that, because I used to, but then when I became like stronger in my belief, I was like, I don't need that. But I always still always had like that, the astrology side, the dream side, stuff like that. So I think I'm going to go back and tap into what I used to do.
Good, good. Because you know, a
Well,
lot of
thank you. Sherry, that was a perfect roundtable discussion right there. Usually at the end of our sessions, we do a roundtable and
Oh,
someone
I'm so
can
sorry.
say,
I'm new because like I say, when
no,
it popped up
you were
here.
perfect. You were perfect. It was a perfect setting. It was the perfect setting. Thank you so much. And that's one of the things that I just wanted to say to everyone here, and especially to you, Joy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this, you know, for the information and for the different voices that are here and you know, people who show up and, you know, and just having support from family and friends, especially when you are in a different philosophy. It
Right.
really means a lot. It really means a lot. So this is one of the things that I really appreciate having seen today. So let's go ahead and do our round table since Sherry started us off. Excuse me, everybody. So our round table the question is, what did you learn from today's session and how can you apply it to your life? Would anybody like to go first? I'm gonna call on everybody, so you know, just to let y'all know.
well,
I'll
I'll
go
go first. Oh.
Okay, who? Which one?
Okay, real quick. Mine's are just real quick.
Mhm.
I never thought about astral travel and astral projecting being separate from dreams. Like it never crossed my mind or dawned on me at any time. So I'm gonna have to look into that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes, go ahead,
I'll go
Saki.
next. Well, I thank you, Joy, and I appreciate your openness and sharing so much of what you've learned and understanding also where, you know, I was coming from. And I think and feel that both dreams and astral travel or projection have to do with bringing back information for ourselves, as well as what we are to do with our purpose in helping humanity to reach that fifth dimension and beyond. And both are beneficial. And I thank you for sharing with us so much of your knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I didn't think I had so much, and Miss Carol did say, well, we gonna, trust me, it's gonna get long. And I'm like, oh man, 3:13.
Well, again,
Okay.
I'll go ahead and take it, and I'll actually get on camera real quick. I have the chance. Miss Joy, it's nice seeing you again. It's nice meeting you. I met you as well at the, you know, when I went the second day with my cousin. Your energy is so strong. It definitely brings out a breath of fresh air when you are speaking, and definitely you know what you're saying, and it's encouraging to understand. So first, I just want to give you that. What I've learned today is to interpret my dreams, actually take the time to go back and write these things down. And if you ever get a chance to come back in, you'll know that we do a journal group and things like that. And I do talk about dreams and stuff. And I tell Penelope all the time, I'm like, man, I just had the weirdest one. I don't know what to do with this. So it's good to see like-minded people and for us to be able to be on the same table and everyone to come together, because I do think this is what the world needs to unify itself on a day as Earth Day. So thank you all for coming in, new and old, and supporting each other. And Miss Joy, thank you, and Wu-Tang forever.
Yes.
Why it gotta be old? Why it gotta be old? So anyone else, would they like to go? Forrest, did you already do yours?
I didn't, but I'll just say again, I think what's really happened for me is make sure that I get a spiritual journey, because I think the journeys has helped me to see these things that are happening to my future that are very positive. but also now I can write them down, more clarity of my dreams. So I want to say thank you for allowing us to share today.
Thank you.
Yes, and you know, I started my dream dictionary because my dreams were getting so crazy. Like I was like, nobody is gonna believe if I just say I dreamed that last week. I need proof, like I logged it, this happened. So
Harriet, have you had an opportunity to go?
No, but I will. I don't even know where to begin as far as because there was just so much that Joy brought out, and thank you so much for being here with us. We met at the Holistic Spiritual and Spiritual Expo, and I was just thrilled when I saw what you had on display there, and I was really anxious, and I'm so glad you came to speak with us today. But what you have stirred in me is the desire to get back to journaling my dreams. And in answer to when I asked the question earlier, you gave me an idea that if I write my dreams down in a narrative form, I can eventually put them together and kind of as a look back, not necessarily for publication, but as a way of being able to look back and see what have I learned? What do I need to learn, kind of thing. So thank you. And it's great having you. We hope to have you back again real soon.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How about you, Rosemary? Would you like to say what you learned today and how can you apply it to your life?
Actually, I am just today listening. This is the first time I've been on. So while I ride down the road in the rain, I have learned that we need to pay attention to our dreams and try to figure out what they mean for us in our everyday life. We pay attention to dreams sometimes when something happens, you have a dream and you talk about the dream, and then 3 days later you've forgotten what you even dreamed and what it was really about because you don't know it, you don't look into it. So I am a listener today, but I've enjoyed the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the thing that I learned today is that when you apply the things that you love to your life, it just buds. It's like a flower garden, like, like mint. Mint is a delicious thing, but it will overrun, and this is how good our lives are when we apply the thing that we love into our life. It just runs free and it runs clear. And I'm just so excited to first of all to have met you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say one other thing. I mean, I know we have night dreams, but we also need to pay attention to our daydreams, which is something that people just don't pay attention to. Because even with night dreams, it is helpful, but when you're daydreaming, which is something entirely different, it may have the same effect if you think about why did I think that way, or why, and look at it as a dream. How can that help me in my everyday life, putting my night dreams together with my daydreams? Just a thought.
That is a really interesting thought, because that would lead to imagination. Daydreaming leads to imagination, and with your imagination fueled with the insight that comes from a night dream, yeah, that would definitely, I have never thought to record a daydream, although I have a lot of my I daydream a lot. I have never thought to record a daydream. That's an interesting concept right there. Thank you for that. Well, that's today's session. Thank you so much, Joy, for coming in and for being with us. I really appreciate it. I want to say thank you. Yes, Harriet.
Yeah, I would be appreciative if Joy would give us her website again.
Okay.
I didn't write it down.
It is 12thlighthouse.com, the number 12th lighthouse.com. And if you have social media, I'm at the 12th Lighthouse on YouTube, Instagram. I'm on TikTok. TikTok is where the funny stuff is. Instagram is more professional, and YouTube, I do 2 readings every Wednesday. Well, a reading on Wednesday and readings on Sundays. This past Wednesday was about the hybrid solar eclipse, and when we get off of here, I'll be doing a recording for tomorrow discussing this crazy Mercury retrograde that has already been after me.
Yes, yes. That's one of the things that we were talking about earlier this week. The 19th, the 20th, and the 21st is when when those things were at the height. Yeah.
It's crazy. Usually I'm fine, but it was like yesterday, as soon as I walked in the door, I'm like, dang, did I bring it with me? Like, get off me.
Get it off me, yo. It is not, it's not a good thing. It's combative. It's a combative energy.
So you say you're gonna be doing this to you say a podcast tonight?
YouTube. My channel is the 12th Lighthouse. It has the same logo as oh well, not that logo. Sorry, I thought it was the other one. But it's just a lighthouse. It's still with the white background, but you'll see me. But I'm recording it today because I probably won't have time to do it tomorrow, but it's gonna go up tomorrow afternoon, probably about 1 o'clock.
Okay, we're gonna check you out for sure. For sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank everyone for coming today. So now it's time for our Inner Haven commercial. Just the things that we have going on tomorrow. We will be working and continuing our study in Kabbalah. That's from 2 to 4 p.m. We should be finishing up. We should be finishing up with Hode. Wednesdays we have A Course in Miracles, which is from 5 p.m. to 6:30. So you all, please join in if you would like. 5 p.m. to 6:30. On Thursdays we have a session with Chorus of I Am at 11 a.m. And then from 7 to 8:30, we have a book club. And the book that we're reading is the Book of Longings. Who was it by, Sakina? Sarah.
Susan Monk Kidd. Susan
Monk Kidd. So that's what we do on Thursday evenings. And let's see, next Saturday is going to be open discussion. Open discussions are always fun. Sometimes, sometimes we got to wear our boxing gloves. Sometimes, sometimes we need to have our white flag. So it's really a lot of fun. We really discuss things that matter to us and matter to us now. So it could be anyway from prayer to politics. So please just come on in and join us whenever you can. I thank you.
I thank you.
Let's see. So that's the end of today's session. Would anyone like to close us out in prayer?
Go
ahead.
I was going to say before we go, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on our YouTube page. Inner Haven, green circle with a white letter I in the middle.
Thank you. Thank you. And you were about to say something, Sakina?
I was just mentioning about Harriet.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, I can close this out. Let's just sit back for a moment and connect with our source, the essence of all. And as we are in this state of wholeness with our creator, with one another, we know that we can have so much gratitude in this moment, that we got together with people of a like mind, that just happened it seems so coincidental that we just happened to show up at one thing one time, but here it has come into this fruition where our souls have continued to gather and to grow, and with that we are so grateful. But each and every being that is here at this time, we just allow ourselves to be filled with abundance. Allow our minds and our consciousness and every thought and every action and every deed to be filled with the abundance of our source. There is only love, there is only grace, there is only goodness, there is only prosperity, there is only health,
yes,
there's only
Lord God.
benefit. All of these
Lord
things
to
are
God.
who we are at this moment, and we say that and know that with pride. And we stand firm knowing that we are reflections of the source. And as we reflect this greatness that belongs to our Creator, we know each and every one is filled with the same love, the same passion, the same hope as the Creator. And with that, we say, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming.
Well and blessed, everyone.
Love
Thank you so much.
you.
God bless you.
Bye.
Amen.
Thank you, Joy.
I gotta figure out how to